Hey, it's Eric from The Rev. Well, I got my trusty songbook, I got my guitar. That can only mean it's time for Songwriter's Corner. Never give a damn what anyone thinks. Thanks for watching. I'm really glad that you're here because I want to talk about the song that really started it all for The Rev. It's our song, Whiskey Rebellion. This would be the first song that we ever recorded, and as of this video, it is far and away one of our most popular and most liked songs. Let's start at the start. The song begins like this. So, very simple, very straightforward. None of that was really, I hate to say it, but all that thought out, and here's why. That was really more of a reaction to an article that I had read. I hadn't written a song in, I hate to admit it, it had been several years. And I read this article about essentially the characteristics that make up this thing that we call the American spirit. And when I was done reading it, it left me all kinds of fired up, and I kind of just came in the other room and started playing. I didn't know it at the time, but I think what my brain was trying to do was to come up with something that was emotionally very raw and almost kind of like a military style march. This scratching, this in between the big clear chords. I didn't really intend it at first to be like that, but I think that was what my brain, I guess, was trying to tell me, was that it wanted something like a military march. If you've heard the recording of the song, you know that in fact the recorded version starts with real drums and with a real march. The day before we recorded the song, our drummer Chris Chambers came up with that, and it really set the tone for the song, the theme of it, I thought, perfectly. So I'm glad that we used that. All right, so why is the song called Whiskey Rebellion? Well, this article that I had just finished reading used an actual event in early American history to describe this thing called the American spirit, and that event is called the Whiskey Rebellion. It's something that happened back in the late 1700s. It was around 1791, 1793 or 4. During that time, whiskey distillers were being taxed in a way that they thought was unfair, and they revolted. A very common theme in American history, revolting against taxation. What a surprise. Don't mess with our booze, by the way. So I loved this idea of using, that the article had talked about, using this event in history to describe the nature of America, what our collective personality is kind of like. We tend to be very rebellious. We don't like being told what to do. We like our booze, I guess. And the article kind of inspired me to want to explore that a little bit more. So that's what I tried to do. And let's start with the first verse. It's kind of a tip of the hat, not just, of course, to, people who distill their own moonshine or whiskey or whatever. It's more big picture, but the song begins like this. Never gave a damn what anyone thinks. I hold still the swill that I drink. So that was sort of a nod to that idea. The first verse is not at all the very first thing that I came up with. The first lyrics or lines that I wrote would ultimately become the chorus, and it goes like this. Call me a rebel, call me a hellion. I'm just a proud volunteer for the Whiskey Rebellion. I wish I thought in outline form, make things a whole lot easier, but I don't. When I'm writing a song, I think I get the general idea, and ideas, I guess, kind of come out of nowhere, and I end up assembling them in the right order as the song progresses. So what you hear as the chorus was the very first thing, but it's not, of course, the first thing that we hear in the song, and that's pretty common when it comes to me. This is a good time to talk about the structure of the song. If you've heard it, you know it's very straightforward, pretty simple. I would describe it as an A-B with a pretty blistering solo in the middle, and then more A-B, meaning the verse is idea A. Chorus is the call me a rebel, call me a hellion. The song doesn't really deviate from that, again, aside from the solo, the guitar solo in the middle, and the outro, which is really kind of like a second guitar solo, really fun way to get out of the song. For anyone that has heard a handful of my songs, you know that the structure of Whiskey Rebellion is kind of a little bit different. I don't know why. I think it's just general fear or paranoia about never wanting to sound too much the same. But when I write songs, I always have this need to want to go somewhere else. So there's often a pre-chorus or a bridge or both, some way to introduce another idea before we come back to a verse, idea A, or chorus, maybe call that idea B or C. Let's talk a little bit more about the chorus in this song, because there's a little bit of that in there. Although the chorus is the chorus and it's mostly the same, if you've heard the song, you know that in the middle of the chorus, the lyrics are always a little bit different. They all start off, call me a rebel, call me a hellion, and they all finish, because there ain't no heart like a volunteer. But in the middle, there was this opportunity to tell a little bit more of the story, paint a little bit more of the picture, and maybe describe one more element of the collective personality of Americans and this thing, again, that we call the American spirit. So here are a couple of examples of the way that I tried to vary the chorus a little bit each time. The first chorus in the middle deviates, goes like this. You want to take away what's mine, you never met a mountaineer. So that's that idea of what's mine is mine, I've worked for it, back off. Very typically American. The middle of the second chorus goes like this. And if you want to shake my hand, you better state your business clear. Again, that idea of we don't suffer fools, at least not for very long. So you want to do business with me? Fine, but you better be straightforward about it. Don't try any funny stuff. That's just kind of our nature, I guess. So as the song started to develop, I wanted to take the ideas from the article and combine those with my own life experience growing up here in the US. And I found that it rang very true. There are a lot of examples of that throughout the song, but here are a couple of them. The first one is when we talk about cars, and it's in the verse, second half of the first verse. It goes like this. Think about folks living in the sticks or in a car being built that we can't fix. Americans love their cars. They just do. We work on them. I got tons of friends that work on cars. They love working on them, fixing them up. I'm not that great with cars, but a lot of my friends are. The other one is the 8-pointer and making a rack out of it. And that's a nod to the American tradition of hunting. My dad grew up in North Dakota. He hunted all of his life, and he passed that on to me and my brother. And to this day, when we have the time, we love to hunt. So when I talk about the 8-pointer and the rack and all that stuff, that's a nod to my dad. As is the part where I say, Daddy taught me aim small. You aim small, you miss small. It's all part of being a good shot. And no doubt when my dad sees this, he will remind all of us what a good shot he is. And actually, he's a really great shot. Anyway, that part of the song goes like this. I got an 8-pointer, make a fine gun rack, drug 'em out the woods, cross my back. Say I'm lucky, no, it's all skill. When I aim, I shoot to kill. Daddy taught me aim small. So I guess hard for at least some of my personality or my life experience not to come through in a lot of songwriting. In this case, it was intentional. Well, no song that deals with the American spirit would be complete without addressing faith and God. And that's exactly what I attempt to do at the end of the song, which goes like this. And I thank the Lord each and every day for making me free so I can live this way. Americans are a people of faith. It's a big part of our founding, always has been. But I finished the song by coming full circle and reinforcing one last time that idea of our rebellious nature and the fact that we are just not big on rules. And that goes like this. Never been much for authority. You can keep your rules and I'll keep my free. That was, of course, also intentional. And there you have it, the American spirit of drinking, fighting, self-sufficiency, hunting, and fearing God. All in a song that comes in at just under 4 minutes. Sounds like a song I could get into. Hey, thanks again for being here and for watching. We really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you'd like to know more about the song, about the band, you have any questions, just send us a message or drop us a comment. We look at everything and we respond to everything. We'd love to hear from you. Also, if you want to know how to play the song, if you're a guitar player or a singer or anything like that, just let me know and I will send you the chords and the lyrics, so the exact ones that we use when we record. Happy to do that. All right, folks, take care and believe in the riff.